Turn off the lights and illuminate this motherfucker. What up? All right. Subject I'm dealing with is a deity. They say a certain person came out with. They were saying how this deity. He doesn't. How can you say this deity is here? But he just came up with this deity. So, but I'm gonna show and bring to light from doing studies, not in just one particular section. You can go in different sections and find different things, and sometimes you will find the same deity with the resemblance of the name and the resemblance of what they actually did in those different countries or continents. All right, let's get right into it. All right. Everyone is familiar with the expression. Let me make sure you can see. Oh yeah. Again, I'm back in this book again because it's very pertinent and super important. Okay. I'm gonna tell you the gates of the Necronomicon Simon. Super important. Okay. If you have the first one, you got to get this one. This one it's all this is mainly you got you got the dates and you got like a whole bunch of reading you can do what everything makes sense in the book. Okay. All right. Everyone is familiar with the expression. Let me get it right. Get it right. All right. With the expression of Age of Aquarius, a new age in history that will bring about a general enlightenment of humanity, an age of spiritual liberation. Not everyone is aware of just where the phrase Age of Aquarius comes from. One of the first time I ever really heard it was from Prodigy. He said, "This is not the." He said, "This is the age of Aquarius," and I remember he was bringing on like he was one of the first. And look at this word right here; it's crazy, enlightenment. And he was like, remember he said, "Illuminati with my mind, soul, and my body," and then a certain rapper from the same city or the same state use his sample, you know what I'm saying? And everybody started just like bugging out, like, oh, Illuminati, Illuminati. But he was into the science. But the funny thing is, the certain rapper that uses sampled his voice did studies under the same person, but didn't come out with nothing at that time talking about the person. I'm talking about Dr. Malachi Z. York, but he ended up being an agent pretty much for the government. You put everybody under all these systems, but at the same time, now you claiming all these. Well, I'm not gonna. Something telling me to keep going. I'm gonna keep going. So if you claiming all these systems, but then you're doing the stuff that get you thrown in jail, so you're making these certain systems look like terrorist groups, or you make your group look like a terrorist group or a cult. So then everything they follow, everything that black people even touch, or outside of it, or melanated people even touch, that didn't. So that's the thing. Don't even start a group. Have your own shit. Like you are your own entity. Look at yourself like that. You have to study everything, as in you have to go get it yourself. Like I'm not following no group. I'm not gonna be drinking no Kool-Aid. I'm not gonna be laying on the ground with no Kool-Aid cups next to my body. Okay. Same situation. So that situation had to happen in order for us to start looking at ourselves as our own entity. You know, it's coming to that's what this pretty much means. The age of Aquarius. Everybody's coming into their own enlightenment of humanity, or the human. So the original people have to really start waking up. The original people of this planet, of this dimension. So we got to start waking it up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, so these people that have all these books, like, oh, this is new age, new age. Yeah, it's new age because it's a new age we're coming into, not the old age we were previously in, where you follow like it was well, I'm gonna get into that now, the Piscean age. Okay, let me get to that in a little bit. So the Piscean age was pretty much like fish, following, school of fish. See, now you are your own school, your own entity now. Okay, uh, I'm not nobody's teacher or none of that. Like if I have something to say, like if somebody asks me something, then I'll bring it to them. I'm not looking for no followers, no converts, or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not looking for none of that. All I want is my people to wake up. And I'm not finna come to you. You come to me, cause I'm not looking for nobody to follow me. Nowhere. If you knew what I was doing or how I was doing it, you wouldn't want to. So all I do is live my life. The way I live it, and the way I live it, and then if somebody seems to say, "Hey, that's something different," if you can use it, you can use it. If you can't, you can't. That's fine. I'm not gonna make nobody do nothing that I'm doing. Okay, here we go. Let's get back to it. Spiritual liberation. Not, here we are. I'm going to show you where we at. Okay, right here. Not everyone is aware of just where the phrase Age of Aquarius comes from. Let me go ahead and get this right. Okay, here we go. We good. Due to this phenomenon of precession of the equinoxes, the vernal equinox of March 21st will take place not in Aries or in Pisces, but in Aquarius. The date when this will occur is the subject of some debate, but most astrologers agree that it will happen early in the third millennium, that is, shortly after the year 2000 AD. That means, of course, that this book is being written. Let me make sure I get this right. That means, of course, that as this book is being written, we are in, make sure you see it, we are in the last days of the Piscean age, an age that was ushered in by Christianity and the military, economic, and religious dominance of Western European nations over the lands of Asia, Africa, and Native America. That has been Christianity's legacy to the world. To other occultists, the age of Aquarius, although it is a phenomenon of astronomy, because that's what everything pretty much is, time based on astronomy. So like we haven't had in a previous video before, dealing with sidereal and tropical astrology, the northern and southern hemisphere of astrology, dealing with time, when the sun passes through the equator. That's what this is pretty much bringing back to the forefront. Okay, astronomy and astrology, dealing with the stars, corresponds to another new age, the age or aeon of Horus. Okay, remember, or no, Horus or Heru is the son of his father, the father Asar. Okay, and they have something very very important I saw in this book dealing with the name Asar. Okay, Horus's father, Asar. Okay, so now remember that means we're in a new age after this is like the son, so pretty much, or the youth of the father. Traditionally, this age began in April 1904 when Aleister Crowley, yes, the Aleister Crowley, the so-called wickedest man in the world. Let me get on that too. Wickedest man in the world because he has melanated people's information. They're only gonna call him wicked because he don't want it get so big that melanated people or so-called black people say, "Oh, what are these people looking at?" Then they find out they're actually looking at things that it looks or that's pertaining to them. So that's why you're gonna call something wicked, because you don't want the real people that's supposed to have the information to get it. That's how they always do it. They call something occult. Occult means that which is hidden. Okay, so right here, to other occultists, this is hidden from us. You know, so of course you're gonna keep something hidden from the people that's supposed to have the information. Okay. In April 1904, when Aleister Crowley received a series of communications over 3 days in Cairo from an incorporeal inorganic entity called Aiwaz. Okay, that's what the subject of the, you seen the title Aiwas, so that's why you probably clicked on it. But I'm gonna get into it. The message from Aiwas concerned the end of an old spirituality represented by the Buddha, Christ, Moses, and Muhammad, and the beginning of a new age symbolized by the ancient Egyptian deity Horus. Some believe that this age will trigger a third world, southern eastern dominance over the northern western nations of Europe and North America. This will become important to us later on and is mentioned here only only to prepare the reader for some of the information that will follow. The question that will concern us is whether a gate was open those 3 days in Cairo in 1904. If so, what type of gate was it? And what does it mean for the magician of Necronomicon? Okay, so as you see right here, leading into it, the seven rishis. So remember, the Big Dipper or the Great Bear has 7 stars, right? I'm gonna read this paragraph. I'm just gonna give you a little, but they say it's supposed to be 8 stars. That was originally. So, but it gets even deeper. That number seven is very, very important. Okay. Before we answer these questions, let us investigate the celestial gate itself, the Ursa Major constellation, as it was revered among the ancient peoples. Remember, every time when you see the word ancient peoples, these are the first people. That's why ancient people are melanated, so-called black people. Okay, and where do you find them? You find them us in Africa, Asia, every continent pretty much. Africa, Asia, and South America. Then we will discover why the mad Arab feared certain days when this constellation hung from its tail in the sky. We will identify those days and find out what are the days computed from that day. Okay, this is the testimony of the mad Arab. So you want to be like, oh, what does he talk about? I wasn't just dissing or saying dissing Muhammad or anything. This is what this book came from. Okay, the Necronomicon. Now the original book. So this is in another language, in parts of, and it gets into a translation. So he was saying some of the things he had seen from these entities. So I already read. I already referenced this book from previous time. So, but what I'm going to do is show you where you can find the Aiwaz deity in another form of information. Okay, like I always tell you, I don't ever just run my mouth for no reason. I give you things you can find what I'm reading in. So that's what certain people the ISBN, that means the government actually is okaying certain books to come out because they have to. They under like if it's a video I have, it's a contract. The contract, in order for them to put these things out, if they don't, they can have with this contract that they have with certain entities ended. Okay. Now, like I said, now that this is runes, more of like in Switzerland, also Germany, and like in the Europe area. So pretty much our people, melanated people, so-called black people in Europe too. Also, you know what I'm saying? You can just say, oh, we put Caucasoid or Caucasian people in those areas where it was colder, but we were already there. This magic, there's no magic outside of when they say black magic, no magic outside of us. We created all of that. Okay, just so you know that. That's just keeping it real. I'm not finna be saying stuff just to have a certain demographic feel that I'm not. No, it's the truth. It's the actual truth. I did not know this, so it's the truth. Aiwaz. Okay, let me get right into it. What are these this deity is about? Aiwaz. It's also called Ao. Corresponds to the yew tree. It's a poisonous tree. But it's more of, so you can use it as psychedelics too. If you can put it in a tea or something, or put it on your wand. On numerous artifacts, this rune precedes Pertra. As we see, Pertra is the woman, okay, the female deity. But the 13th place suits this rune, since it is connected to death. Now, I wish I had my book of the law with me right now. I don't have it. I have it somewhere else, not around me. So the book of the law, you'll find 418 on in the book of the law. All right, 418. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. 4. Think about it like this. All right, think about it. Simple way to think about it, right? 12, right? 12 disciples, 12 zodiacs, and the one Christos, the Christ. Everybody is their own Christ. You're just not supposed to follow anybody to be your Christ. You're supposed to be your own Christ. So it's like you have 12 zodiacs. You have to become all 12 of those zodiacs in order to fulfill your full self, full enlightened self, right? So those numbers are 13. So the old self has to die. Think about this, okay? The old self has to die in order to come on, to bring on a new, right? Okay, but the 13th place suits this rune since it is connected to death. Not more like a physical death, like, oh, I miss my homies. Not just like that. It's more like a death to this world, like to what you know it as, pretty much. Your old self, okay? A death to the old self and bringing on something new, pretty much. In northern countries, the yew tree has been a typical graveyard tree. It is also a symbol of death and eternal life. Since it can grow to be more than 2,000 years old, the Anglo-Saxon rune song says, Eo is on the outer side, not a happy tree, hard, earthbound, the guardian of fire, Kundalini, the guardian of fire, supported by roots, a joy on inherited land. The yew is a holy tree in the Nordic tradition. The sacrificial tree in Uppsala was probably a yew tree. The yew represents the world tree. Yggdrasil has often been thought to be an ash tree, but is called eternally green. Make sure I'm not losing myself. Eternally green, which fits the yew. The yew tree was also called the needle ash. Aiwaz represents the world pillar, okay, that unites the worlds above with the worlds below. It's just like your spine, same thing. The Aiwaz is the means of communication and way to journey between the worlds. So just like you have people in a crazy house or an insane asylum, they can see be in two dimensions, but more they can't really control the side of themselves that the other people can't see. So they put a container on them and give them a name. Like, oh, you're crazy. So if you can balance yourself seeing in more than two dimensions or multiple dimensions, then you can be able to move around and not be considered crazy because you know how to maintain it. If you don't, you can let it overcome you, and then once you let it overcome you, you have no more control over it. So that's just knowing and controlling your, like they say, your inner demons or your inner how can I put this? Your inner energies, pretty much. They all are just energies, higher or lower energies, just to get something accomplished. Okay. Through his initiation, Odin has the knowledge to take such journeys, and Yggdrasil is the steed of Odin. Steed is a horse. The yew is a very poisonous tree. Properly prepared, the poison can be a powerful hallucinogen, like I just said before. Hallucinogens have been used in all old cultures as a method of riding between the worlds. Okay, riding between the worlds. Like some people like is I remember Aleister Crowley. He had a book called The Diary of the Drug Fiend. You know what I'm saying? So I never got the chance to read that book yet, but being able to maintain while you're in between those worlds instead of letting everything just cover you. You know what I'm saying? So you can be, if you editor can handle your drug or whatever, your drug of choice, and be able to see certain things, it makes more sense. The yew was also used to make magical amulets and wands, but above all to make bows. The god of the yew tree is Yule. Remember Soldier Boy Yule? Watch me Yule. So I have another video I have to make one day soon about that. The god of hunting and archery. Watch me super soak that. You know what I'm saying? The hunter. It's crazy. But even just, I know it's another meaning behind what he's saying, but just stick with me. The Grim Nismal relates that he lives in Dalir, the valley of the yew trees. The Dalir is the home of Yule. There he founded his house. Aiwaz is the arrow, and the pillar represents the phallus. Okay? The phallus, for people that don't know, you know, you see the Washington Monument, and that tall thing that's pretty much just a penis. Like all those monuments, they pretty much copy like from Rome. They have in Rome or in Washington D.C. They copy from Kemet or what others call Egypt. So the same thing, the phallus. Okay, Pertra is the womb. Together they form the middle of the rune row. All right. So there you have it. So people can say, "Oh, Aiwaz," they say he was Sumerian. So Samaria, and you go up to Switzerland or in Germany, that's going further north. So if these are two areas of the same deity, that's you know what I'm saying, like in two different areas. So these certain priests were going from certain place to place. So Aiwass was considered a priest. He was a priest. Okay, too also at that a certain period of time. So and he has how do I put this without saying too much? He has certain different incarnations that he came through as. He had some before Aiwaz, but that's one that wouldn't be as frightening or be more understood. So we can put him into a form of writing. Aleister Crowley could put him in a more of a writing form. So, and also the crazy thing is, I'm going to pause it. Okay, time to illuminate it again. All right. Set has been associated with foreign countries and their inhabitants. Thus, the peoples of Libya in the west were considered by the Egyptians to be the followers of Set. The Semitic peoples of Mesopotamia in the east were also considered to be Set worshippers, and their god Baal was identified often with Set. Crowley's prime female deity, Babylon, okay, it's crazy, you know, that's the star of Babylon. You know, it's a 7-rayed star. Seven stars in the Great Bear or the Great Dipper. Funny how everything correlates with each other. Now, pick this. Okay. Babylon also is obviously Babylonian, and authors have tried to identify the famous Whore of Babylon of the biblical apocalypse, as the Babylonian Ishtar, Sumerian Inanna. This would seem to justify, to some extent, Grant's and Crowley's insistence that the source of the Thelemic Testament, Aiwass, was Sumerian, and that he might have been a priest of an form of Set Typhon. If this could be supported by other evidence, then it is clear that the lemma owes a great deal of its identity to the influence of that exemplar of the transgressive forces of the universe, and that Lovecraft's horror of the high priest of the great old one, Cthulhu or Cthulhu, was at least in some measure justified. Now I got something I was going across. Ancestor sent me something while I was in the middle of something. Hold on, let me pause it. Okay. Didn't know I was still recording, but hey, let's keep it going. All right. Like we just said, he could be considered, like I said, if he would have came in an older form, like I said earlier in the video, he probably could have frightened or threw off. He had to come into a lighter form to the point where Crawley could be able to disseminate and write everything what he needed to have written down in the book of law. Okay? As, you know what I'm saying? And then look, and that Lovecraft's horror of the high priest of the great old ones, Cthulhu or Cthulhu, was at least in some measure justified. This came to me yesterday. I was going through it, you know, I'm doing some things, whatever. And next thing I know, boom, this page, you know what I'm saying? You can find, look, you know, in the Bible they say Leviathan, right? But you go to Genesis 1:2, and you'll find the name Tehom. Tehom, I heard that word. I'm like, I know I heard this word before. Yeah, it was in the X-Clan. The X-Clan, they had something. Brother Jay, he said, come to Tehom. Tehom is the what? All right, let me read this part for you. The Hebrew word for the abyss that is found in Genesis 1:2 is hook tails, Tehom, which the majority of scholars take to be a survival of the name of the chaos dragon. Okay, the dragon cult, draconian dragon Tiamat. In the Hebrew text, it is this Tiamat or Leviathan that is identified closely with Cthulhu or Cthulhu. Pay attention, here it comes. Within the pages of the Necronomicon, although both names are mentioned independently of each other, indicating that somehow Cthulhu is the male counterpart of Tiamat, similar to Absu. Okay? Remember how I'm gonna go from book to book. Like what Chuck D say? Here we go again. Right here. Now you have the phallus and the yoni, right? Saying Petra is the womb, and who? Aiwaz is the phallus. Now these names, these are different names symbolizing death through not a true physical death, but a death of self to become who you really are, your higher self. Okay? So it's a connection through all of this. All right? Peace.